We're talking trades of Christian McCaffrey next up here. And if McCaffrey gets dealt, we'll break it down in depth here on NFL Daily. So make sure you guys are subscribed. The trade deadline is less than 3 weeks. We'll call it 2.5 weeks away. We've got you guys covered with everything going on trade-wise, so don't miss out. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Been a massive amount of buzz and rumors and speculation and frankly false reports on Christian McCaffrey's future, but enough to at least explore the idea of a McCaffrey trade with Matt Rule now out. There had been 2 different reports, one from a clown on Twitter and one from a Buffalo area reporter who said the Bills had called the Panthers about a Christian McCaffrey trade. And then NFL Network disputes those claims, said nobody's called. Bills have not called. But I do think with Matt Rule gone, the trade deadline around the corner, it does make sense for other teams to call the Panthers about a wide variety of players, and McCaffrey is probably the biggest name of that bunch. As he approaches already 100 touches on the season, he looks a little bit more like the Christian McCaffrey we remember. Now, you've always got to be wary of that. The hamstring popped up today, but it's 4.5 yards per carry. He's already exceeded his 2021 total yardage. He's close to doing it in 2021. That 4.5 is his best since 2019. Looks a little bit more like the McCaffrey the Panthers thought they were going to get when they gave him that massive contract. And it's the contract that's led to all kinds of confusion across the NFL. And it's a big reason why I don't think he gets dealt, but not for the reasons that the inaccurate big media tells you. Here's the breakdown. Now, the cap savings cap hit, that first number, is just his base salary this year. The new team, if he gets traded, wouldn't owe him quite the full $1 million. It's actually less than that. The issue is this. The Panthers save $1.04 million, less than that really, this year, and $1.12 million next year. If the Panthers trade Christian McCaffrey, once they add the new player to their roster, they're actually saving nothing in the 2 years by trading with McCaffrey because they've restructured his deal so many times. He's super cheap this year, $1 million, less than that. Every team can afford McCaffrey, but there's zero financial incentive for the Panthers to trade McCaffrey. There's zero on-field incentive because Deonta Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, and Raheem Blackshear are not a very good running back trio in the modern-day NFL, even with running backs not mattering as much anymore. So there's no financial incentive. There's no on-field incentive beyond just absolutely tanking and bottoming out. So it has to be a very valuable draft pick incentive. And I think there are teams hesitant to give up a premium draft pick for a running back with a history of injuries, especially in recent years. So we'll go in depth on some destinations, but first, do you think the Panthers will trade away Christian McCaffrey? Y for yes, N for no. This is the pinned comments on today's video. So that ad break comes here on YouTube. Awesome. Take advantage of it. Head down there. Y for yes, N for no. Let's talk then some Christian McCaffrey trade destinations. I'll go 6 teams that could make some sense. And we are required by federal law to put the LA Rams at number 6. Anytime there's a big name on the market, you got to mention the Rams because they are the ultimate F them picks team. The running backs, though, I am unconvinced are the issue right now. They have not run the football well, don't get me wrong, but the offensive line is bad and injured. They're also very much light on draft capital. Cam Akers doesn't look that good. Darrell Henderson looks a little bit better, but also not that much better. I don't know if trading for McCaffrey fixes their issues. So I would never rule out the Rams. We said that with Odell Beckham. I'll never rule them out, but I would be pretty surprised if they even went after Christian McCaffrey. All right, prediction time. What team will Christian McCaffrey play on after the trade? Could be the Panthers. Could be a team we're going to get to in a little bit. Make those predictions right now for me in the comment section. This idea is fun. The Kansas City Chiefs at number 5. And their ground game hasn't quite been what I think they've hoped it was going to be. Now, they've run it a little bit better, I would argue, this year. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is averaging 4.5 yards per carry. He's also maddeningly inconsistent, terrible against the Raiders, good against the Bucs, non-existent against the Colts on the ground, elite against the Chargers, good against the Cardinals. He's kind of all over the place. Isaiah Pacheco offers you more speed. Jerick McKinnon. McCaffrey in that backfield with Travis Kelce at tight end really does elevate both the ground game and the passing game. I also don't know if the Chiefs want to invest a premium draft pick in another running back, but it would be fun. Now, today's show is made possible in part by our sportsbook partner. That's BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use that promo code right there on screen, NFL Daily. It gets you a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. You can bet on every single game and prop bets. For example, the next Panthers head coach is a prop bet. Sean Payton is the betting favorite at plus 350, followed up by Dan Quinn, the Cowboys DC. Shane Steichen, the Eagles OC, he'll be a hot name this year. Kellen Moore, the Cowboys OC, kind of surprisingly high there. Interim coach Steve Wilks, plus 1,000, plus a lot more long shot names. If you got a good feeling, you can make a ton of money. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code NFL Daily to get that deposit bonus. Number 4, the Denver Broncos. They've been speculatively linked because of the injury to Javonte Williams, the fact that Melvin Gordon has, we'll call it a bit of a fumbling problem in recent years. The backups right now are Mike Boone, Latavius Murray. The number one issue you run into here, a team that's already moved on from their first-round pick, they're light on draft capital. Do they want to give up a big asset for a running back in a year in which maybe they're not the contender we thought they were going to be? This is also a fun idea. The 49ers at number 3, landing Christian McCaffrey. I think he would thrive in that Kyle Shanahan offense. The Niners, as they seemingly always do, are battling injuries again. Tyrion Davis-Price is banged up. Elijah Mitchell's out for the year on IR. Jeff Wilson brings you the thunder, but that explosive runner that Mitchell brings you isn't quite on the team right now. Now, again, team that's moved on from their first-round pick, giving up a big asset. I don't know if they want to spend the premium capital it would require, but they are one of the more logical fits. In general, I don't know if teams want to give up a lot of picks right now for a back. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles. Talk about the most aggressive teams. In some order, it's the Rams, the Saints, and the Eagles. They have always been, let's be aggressive. Although Miles Sanders has played pretty well this year. He's never been the guy I thought he was going to be production-wise out of Penn State, but he's been a nice little runner for them this year. He's averaging 4.8 yards per carry. That's, in line with his career average, a bit of a higher volume, finally at long last from that standpoint, right? Kenneth Gainwell, Trey Sermon, Boston. That's a fine rotation, right? But imagine Jalen Hurts surrounded by Dallas Goedert, Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith, and insert somebody else at receiver, like Quez Watkins, whatever. I mean, that's one of the most dynamic skill groups in NFL in a very long time. You have McCaffrey to that unit. Sanders can still spell him. It's fun. Might be a bit too aggressive for Philadelphia. Here's my question. It's kind of at the heart of all the buts with all these teams, right? What draft pick is Christian McCaffrey worth? Carolina's going to want a lot because they save no money and makes their team way worse. They can always trade him next year too if they want, right? So what draft pick do you think Christian McCaffrey is worth? I can't give up a 1, right? Does a second get it done? Does a team that wants to give up a second, third? Let me know. Drop that draft pick in the comment section. Number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Now, the reports of Buffalo calling Carolina appear to be inaccurate, which I think it was because it was people trying to guess and look smart, right? The Bills have been linked speculatively to Christian McCaffrey because they haven't run the football all that great in recent years, despite, mind you, investing a pretty good amount of draft capital in running backs, right? I mean, Devin Singletary was a third-round pick. Zach Moss was a third-round pick. James Cook was a late second-round pick. They've thrown a lot of top 75, top 100 picks at different backs there, and they never quite got the ground game they've wanted, which is why, by the way, you invest in the offensive line more so than backs. Bills, though, are number one because Josh Allen, McCaffrey, Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, and they're the favorites right now in the Super Bowl for a reason. You add McCaffrey to that unit, it's going all in at a time where it does make sense, even though you might end up with a spot of you've invested 4 or more top 100 picks in your running backs. Maybe you could send one of those guys back to Carolina and lessen the draft capital and make it just a bit more appealing. But Buffalo, if McCaffrey gets dealt, I do think is the number one team to keep an eye out for.